Welcome back to The Eighth Son. Are you kidding me? Anime Review episode number 5. This is discussing episodes 10 and 11. This covers the rest of basically book 4. I will discuss episode 12 once I finish reading book 5. I actually start reading it already. I have only one chapter. There's like 6 chapters, and I think like one interlude and an omake, and that is it. That's all that's pretty much there when it comes to that book. So in these episodes in particular, what we start out with Gwendolyn meeting with his brother Kurt and his the younger brother Paul, the one who's the spare to the line. So he explains why he's here. He's here to purify zombies from an expedition that failed several years prior to the series. So. And then, of course, also talking with Paul's beautiful wife. Yes, his beautiful wife. Excuse me. Actually, it was Herman. Yeah, Herman, not Paul. Herman's wife, Marlene. Very beautiful woman. And of course, she probably does occasionally tease her brother-in-law. Yes. Mm-hmm. Of course, we also see Amelia and her 2 children with Kurt. Mm-hmm. And we see how much of a dick he is. Yeah, Kurt is a dick. He's also very paranoid, and he's look like he might be suffering from some depression. So after explaining why they're here, and of course they chat with Herman, and of course talk with his wife. Apparently they found out that one of the people on the expedition was actually his wife's grandfather, and of course, they did this. Of course, then they go out to deal with the zombies. Okay, they do pretty much all no problem. And then all of a sudden, we have a zombie dragon show up here. Yes, because apparently a dragon's been zombified, along with boars, which apparently were killed by the expedition. So they purify them, and then there's like 2 left. One is the Duke. Yes, the Duke comes in, the late Duke. And they purify him, no problem. And then, of course, about the fancy jewels he has. And, like, okay, they purify all the zombies, but wait, there's one left. Marlene's grandfather. And, of course, since he's the last one, they don't need the whole big barrier. And, of course, he asks for Marlene. Of course, he asks, like, she's very happy. She's married and happy. Her husband takes very good care of her. And apparently he's satisfied with that, so he just passes on. And apparently leaves only behind his sword, not his armor, which I thought that was kind of weird. And then, like, okay, after basically apparently one of the things they had to do was give all the belongings, which they did. And of course, sort out between people who have the funeral. But Kurt wanted to melt down the stuff for raw materials because they don't have any. So Gwendolyn decides to offer a counter to that by pulling out a huge chunk of iron out of his magic sack. Yep. He's like, what the heck? Yep. It's like, that should satisfy you, no problem. People can bury people with these items, no problem. And of course, at the funeral, and by the way, when Kurt is very disrespectful to Gwendolyn's party. Like, in the book, he referred to Elise as a corrupt priest, and for Erwin as a punk. Yes. He referred to Aline, who, as a corrupt priest, I swear this woman is Gwendolyn's fiance. He's due to marry her. So basically, he just insulted his future sister-in-law. Just because he's jealous of his brother's success. Yep, that's simply the reason for it. The anime doesn't have that here. Nope, they decided to cut that out for some reason. Probably due to time, though it would have been kind of hilarious if they kept that in. So, And of course, he refers to Erwin in the anime as a this is according to the English dub, as a lowly rank retainer. Really? Last time I checked, he's his only retainer he has. Actually, he's got like 2 or 3, but he was the first one he hired. He hired basically because he volunteered to do it. So, after they purify the bodies, then apparently, after having a little celebration, apparently it turns out, according to Burkhardt, that apparently there's plans in place to replace Kurt as the next heir to the family. The reason being, well, for one thing, the guy is illiterate, he apparently is very corrupt, and he's very abusive of his authority. So, they apparently want Wendelin to take over as the Lord, despite the fact that Herman is next in line after Kurt, but we'll get to that, don't worry. So, then they decided to persuade people to come to their side by bringing along more cheap materials, and slowly, we actually have it where Wendelin is planning Kurt's downfall by, well, persuading his supporters to basically join his side, having a new house set up for Amelia in case basically just anything bad happened to her, because from Amelia's perspective, Amelia is Kurt's wife, who's also the mother of their 2 sons, and of course she's beginning having to get very close to their awesome uncle. Yes, I know how he feels basically having nephews. I have 3 myself, and I love my nephews. They're great kids. And my brother is a great father to his kids. And of course, I also have to spoil my wonderful 3-year-old niece, Penelope. Yeah, so I understand how he feels by basically being very good to being the awesome uncle, the amazing uncle to nephews and niece. Of course, I have 2 nieces. The other one lives out of state. So, now, the thing with Amelia is that something really interesting happens in the book. She doesn't die. No, she does not die. But she just gets some development with Wendelin later on. I'm not going to spoil her here. I might spoil whenever they decide to do season 2 or 3. I hope they do. So, they set up a possible thing for Kurt, where he gets to have sanctuary in the church, and of course trying to convince his future grandfather-in-law to basically convince him to agree to this. Meanwhile, though, while he's in the capital, we have this mysterious guy who's working with the Baron, working with Roderick's father, who gives him a special flute and has it requested that the flute be delivered to Kurt. What is this flute, you might ask? A dragon flute. Yeah. This particular thing sets the events of the opening chapter of Book 5. So yes, the anime is going for this. I think this is a smart move on the part of the anime to set this up toward the end of the episode, because why would you have with the final episode of the season where he just abruptly has for apparently no reason at all? And I do appreciate them setting this up because this is vital. I would not be surprised, though, somehow 6 chapters are covered for 1 episode for the series, which, of course, is 1 episode left. Yeah, I have 1 more episode to go. We'll discuss it later when I finish Book 5. I'm also, I will announce this right here, that the next animated places for bench watching will be Marshall, which, that won't take very long. It's only 6 episodes, so it won't take too long. I'm going through the manga right now. I'm only 3 volumes in right now. I have the ones I have here. I have about 6 left. I don't have volume 7, but I have gone through the first 3. Now, I have book 11 away from the library, but I will be reviewing this particular series in the future. It's my next series I'm going to review. I'll review it here. That even though that is my next series. Next series after that will be The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. Yes, 2 manga series. I will also hopefully get a chance to start the Konosuba spin-off series, the Explosion one. Yes, I'm going to start reading the light novels with that one. Yes, and presumably get to watching that anime, which has just started, and I'm thinking that anime probably won't last as long as Konosuba will. But in the case of this particular anime, it's still good. Nothing bad here so far. I do appreciate, though, that now Veronica Taylor herself, her character is still just a joy to watch, where she's drooling over, like, cooking so to eat it because she's so hungry. despite the fact she's thin, but my guess is her magic basically burns those calories. That's why she's always hungry. And I think Veronica Taylor picked a great character's voice. That's just my honest opinion. I've actually tweeted her about this on Twitter. The fact that I actually got to the episode where a character first shows up. She hasn't responded yet, but she'll probably respond soon. I'm not hoping she'll respond she probably saw it. I'm sure she probably did. But I'm sure she's probably busy. Now, a lot of these voice actors, I do tweet them. And comic creators on Twitter. But I'm sure they probably get them. They probably just don't have time to respond. So, there's that. And by the way, she's the only voice actress I actually recognize this entire one of the very few. Now, Karma Lee voices the blue hair Louise. She doesn't do a lot of these episodes per se. It's almost like after she shows up, she doesn't do very much. She just does a little martial arts that she does, but doesn't do a lot per se. I think Wilma does a lot more than she does, and she carries on a big axe. We see her in action in these episodes, which is so awesome. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Next time I'm going to do one comic corner. Now there is 2 more anime coming today, and that will be those 2 will be Dr. Stone and Case Closed. I'm also hoping probably when I get back from my going out a little shopping later, I probably get a chance to review some Doctor Who because I'm on the final episode of a series I'm working on. I'll discuss later. Okay, next video. Bye.